Hi everyone, my name is Neda. I'm presenting a summary of my research work under the supervision of Professor Louis Frankel. The title of my study is Creating Emotional Attachment with Hearing Aids as an Assistive Wearable. The use of assistive technologies enhances the quality of life for many people. However, there are some barriers that cause the rejection and abandonment of these devices by the users. Design of the assistive technologies often focuses more on the functionality and technological aspect of the device rather than the psychological and social needs of the users. They are often designed based on the medical model of disability, which is technology-oriented, and ignore the social model. This can lead to the design of stigmatizing products that ignores the social integration of the target group. Stigma or embarrassment might happen because the assistive wearables look more like a medical device than a mainstream fashion product. Technological development in the area of hearing aids is still focusing on augmenting abilities by taking the attention away from the appearance of the devices and moving towards smaller size and invisible devices. By analyzing the frameworks by various researchers, we came to understand how to create a meaningful and long-term attachment between the user and assistive wearables, and explored different strategies that have been applied to minimize the stigma attached to the devices. One way of creating attachment with an assistive device is through fashion and self-expression. Looking into the history of eyeglasses shows that these wearables had this transition from an assistive device to a fashion accessory over the decades. But the hearing aid industry has not yet moved towards integrating fashion, and the focus has always been on technological development and miniaturization. There are some challenges that prevent the hearing aid industry to move towards a fashion-based approach. We understood that there is a limited amount of literature about hearing aids from an emotional and psychosocial perspective, and also a lack of research on how people react to the application of the fashion-based approach in the design of hearing aids. We conducted some preliminary studies to fill in these gaps in the literature. Through interviewing with experts, we understood the challenges people with hearing loss face from the physical, social, and psychological aspects when using hearing aids. Through conducting a survey, we collected data from 30 hard of hearing individuals and understood how they feel regarding the appearance and design of their current devices, and also their taste in trying fashionable solutions. Most of these participants did not find their current devices stylish, attractive, and unique. We plan to collect more data to explore how design for disability can contribute to creating attachment between hard of hearing people and their hearing aids. We hope that the application of the fashion-based approach in the design of hearing aids can open the door for the creation of the devices that are more engaging and less stigmatizing. Thank you for your time and attention.
Hello, I'm Daniela Napoli. I've interned for a number of CLUE partners, including CAE, IBM, and the Canadian Institute for Health Information. Right now, I'm working on my PhD research in usable security. This research is focused on exploring new methods to communicate security and privacy information. Here's a sneak peek of what we're currently exploring. You've probably come across some of these symbols before. Colored flock icons might have warned you about insecure websites, or detailed dialog windows might have explained why danger is imminent. Sometimes these warnings have flashed or jiggled to help get your attention and try to keep you safe. These solutions are really common, but they don't work for everyone. In fact, many people have learned to completely ignore these warnings. And for people with visual disabilities, they can't even access them. Also, for anyone using new technology like the Amazon Echo, for example, there is no screen to refer to if you want to check if your device has been compromised. So then, our main research question is straightforward. How do we communicate security warnings without relying on traditional visualizations? In this research endeavor, our goal is to explore a range of options and to understand which options are best suited for specific technology or circumstances. This is the Novus Thermal. It's our first prototype, which explores using thermal warnings in a typical desktop environment. It gathers TLS information from websites, then it changes temperature depending on the data that was collected. So, when people visit a website with low security, the thermal pad heats up. And when people visit a website with high security, everything stays cool. With the Novus Thermal and all of our future prototypes, our goal is to encourage easier and more thoughtful security analyses without the need for a screen. In the coming months, our next steps are to continue developing the prototype, then putting the prototype into practice and collecting user feedback. And then we'll repeat this process with all of our other prototypes, which use different communication methods that could help improve user security awareness. Thank you for listening. Please feel free to email me if you'd like to learn more about our projects.
My name is Adrian Bolesnikov, and I am a first-year master's student in human-computer interaction at Carleton University. Today, I'm happy to present my in-progress research project with Dr. Audrey Girard and Jin Kang from the Creative Interactions Lab, exploring board game accessibility for people with vision impairments. Tangible games have been a popular means of entertainment for generations. However, modern board and card games are widely inaccessible to people with vision impairments, and this is due to reliance on visual cues to communicate information. For instance, code names, being centered on reading cards, demonstrates the common issue of using text as the sole means of sharing information with players. In Monopoly, players collect cards with matching colors. Using colored cues to communicate information introduces a large barrier for those with vision impairments. And utilizing the sense of touch is key for many with vision impairments. However, board games like Scrabble make it incredibly difficult for those with little to no vision to manipulate game pieces without disturbing the state of the game itself. Given this, we joined in other researchers' effort to design accessible board and card games by exploring the experiences of people with vision impairments with tangible games. To do so, we are carrying out a series of semi-structured interviews using participants' conferencing tool of choice. We first asked participants about their general gaming habits and attitudes concerning accessibility in gaming as a whole. We then asked them about their experience playing physical games and their experiences with digital gaming to understand the accessibility issues in a digital environment. We have currently interviewed 12 participants who all self-identify as visually impaired or low vision, who have some gaming experience from infrequent playing with family to daily gaming nights. As interviews continue and analysis begins, several interesting themes have begun to be noticed. First, participants have noted a variety of common barriers when it comes to tangible gaming. These barriers include, but are not limited to, a dependency on sighted players and having to slow down the pace of gameplay. Participants have discussed several useful and creative adaptations for accessibility also. One of the most prominent adaptations is via the process of brailing, with Uno Braille being extremely popular in the visually impaired community. Participants highlighted the need to make information perceivable with multiple senses. Recent improvements to versions of Scrabble, for instance, have the areas to place tiles both shown visually and through the use of raised edges. And participants also discussed several inaccessible gameplay mechanics they come across, such as games in which each player has their own status that everyone needs to be aware of, which becomes extremely difficult for players with vision impairments. While the recruitment and interview process is ongoing, discussion with participants have already begun to highlight potential future works, such as the biggest source of excitement from participants being the possibility of participating in co-design workshops. Several participants have also indicated the potential for incorporating AI to be used as assistive tech when playing games, and the idea of exploring a centralized online hub for board game rulebooks designed with assistive technology in mind. As this presentation comes to a close, I want to thank everyone who's taken the time to listen to my presentation. For any questions or comments, please do not hesitate to reach out to me via email.